It needs no mention that efficiency of operation must be measured by financial as well as technical success, and as a natural corollary, the operational obligation merges with the financial one. Our planners have admitted frankly that the financial obligations have not been met, for the boards have fallen far short of covering their outgoings, taking the nationalized sector as a whole. It is very rarely that the huge capital expenditure of our public sector enterprises has been met from funds set aside by them. The major part, if not to be a cause of inflationary government borrowing, has had to be raised from the savings of private individuals and firms or from the proceeds of taxation. It is worth noticing that a share of the total funds used for investment in the economy has been allotted to our nationalized sector, but practically there is no positive test by which to determine whether this has to pass the test of the market. In the public sector enterprises, it has not to do so to the same extent, and political considerations are generally the decisive factor with regard to the sum of the amount to be appropriated. The nationalized sector could not make any significant contribution in improving human relations. Probably nationalization has made them more complicated by destroying the worker's choice of employer within his industry, by bringing the government into the ring in important cases of dispute, and by disappointing the expectations of some workers that it would produce workers' control. Moreover, nationalized industries failed to satisfy the working people with regard to wage increase and conditions of employment. The act of nationalization intended the boards of our public enterprises to be made accountable to the nation for the discharge of their responsibilities. But in fact, Parliament has not been able to underline any suitable method for bringing them to account properly. Under no circumstances the parliamentary system can be considered adequate and effective for the perfect control of industry, and accountability without control is meaningless. It is an admitted fact, however, that our publicly owned enterprises failed to satisfy the planners' expectations of outstanding progress and improvement, specifically with regard to surplus, consumers' interest, labor management relations, employment opportunity, so to say, overall economic prosperity. Considering the unsatisfactory and gloomy records of our public sector enterprises and the deterrent effects of nationalization on our economic development, a group of politicians and economists have suggested a new program. They have asked the government to think of achieving the desired objective without further expansion of the area of the public sector, but simply by controlling private enterprises. In other words, they advocated stop further nationalization policy, but highly appreciated regulating private sector organizations in the interest of the country. In their view, the state can make private industry more publicly accountable ordinarily through the planning mechanism. One way would be to set up planning councils in each industry with powers to ascertain and, if necessary, to publish the sort of information which seldom finds its way into the press today: information on the market shares of the different firms, the rate of profit earned in various sectors of their operations, and so on. Moreover, private enterprises can also be effectively controlled and dictated if the government is empowered with the authority of acquiring compulsorily a controlling interest in any organization which refused or failed to play its part in the national interest, or which, after a full public examination, could be shown to be in any way failing the nation. Besides that, the state can very well exert its influence by purchasing shares in the more profitable sections of private industry. Of course, we do not only propose to affect ownership but also control at the same time, and therefore it would be appreciable if some provisions are contained in the company law so that the government is in a position to nominate its representative on the board of directors. The above idea is worth considering, no doubt, But perhaps in reality, the device would not be potentially sensitive to inspire our private establishments to chalk out schemes of expansion, because neither the fear of nationalization is ruled out nor are they assured of pre-movement. But in a mixed economy where it is the joint responsibility of both the private and public sectors to accelerate the pace of economic development, surely it is menacing if any one of them feels shy to shoulder that responsibility. At the same time, the government is also handicapped for technically qualified and experienced personnel. But we should remember that this problem of personnel and management is only for the time being. It would not be difficult at all to encounter this problem in the near future. This does not mean, however, that the government is in a position to and would nationalize all the business and industries immediately. Rather, the government is advised to extend its activities gradually. There are obvious reasons for supporting further expansion of public ownership. Especially in a mixed economy, private enterprises will never consider it necessary to initiate new business and industry in regions which are economically handicapped. The government will have to take the sole responsibility of balanced industrial growth. It would be better to start with public enterprises instead of providing financial assistance and other facilities to the private sector. Secondly, the industries which face keen competition in the foreign market and need regular expenditure in scientific research and development receive no special attention in the private sector establishments so far as these sectors are concerned. Here also the government is asked to provide the necessary financial assistance but acquiring the majority shares in all circumstances. Moreover, where major chances of ownership and control in a vital industry are threatened by takeover, bid or merger, the state must be free to intervene either by vetoing a proposed transaction or by stepping in itself and asserting the rights of the community through an extension of public ownership. Perhaps it would not be out of place here to quote Professor Pigot. According to his dictum, where vast concentrations of economic power have created monopolies, the government, on behalf of the people, has the right to insist that such economic empires be made accountable to the public interest.